After all these things, Shediebano. Mamenche Adiebia Eko, so let's kill some gendarmes. Now, Bride Simmons, and our Bride Simons, I don't know how he wants to be called, but for some time now, I feel say there are some people in Ghana, the space is becoming too tight. The idea, and I say the kind of perception people had about them, say they were jack of all trade and that they were super intelligent than every single person who basically contributes to state or national discourse. No? For some time, your group in Nipebi say when they speak, majority of Ghanaians, we should all swallow because they are super intelligent. And that they delve deep, they are deeper, and then Nipebi kreti bibi to yetim say sanko for we do kasa. And this Ghana Nibia counter what they say. It started from Ekufuado's time, from 2008. That is when the Kukubakus came out. That is when we saw the Egbert Fables. That is when we saw the Jantre Nipol Adumochemo. We saw Ace and Kumamo. That is when we saw people popping up and making it look like they are intellectual. So they came in that name, they came with that tag, and it was so difficult for people, reasonable Ghanaians who think rationally, to even be like, you know what, Asamoah Canada, without due respect, it does not make sense. It was haram. It was like a crime for you to say, obi to say Sankuma e kan kwasi asem, and I say obi to say Kokubako e kan kwasi asem, and I say obi to say Kofi Bento e kan kwasi asem, and as somebody who is part of a think tank is talking nonsense. We were not able to do that because they created a niche. They created this thing in our head to say, when it comes to politics and national discourse, there are a group of people who are the only intelligent people to speak on our behalf and to make decisions on our behalf when it comes to national issues. For some time now, I'm beginning to see, say, the so-called intellectuals, we see them write lots of articles. Most of them taking it from AI. Majority of them pretending to only speak English and to make it look like when you speak English, every single person is an idiot. It is beginning to look like the space is getting uncomfortable for them. And one particular person, I know for a fact, and I'll say it, there is a group, a WhatsApp group, Kofi Bento, Bright Simmons, Mahmoud Bawumia, they are all part of that group. Me, I'm not into the business of WhatsApp group. I don't care. But I know Bright Simmons is in touch with Bawumia's campaign. I know for a fact. And wherever he sits to contest this, I'll prove to him. I know Bright Simmons, Bawumia, they have contacted him to try and make sure they try to change the narrative to make Bawumia look good. Now, you can see slowly say, Bright Simmons and in the group, they are trying everything possible to find fault with this government. Even where there are no faults, they are doing everything possible to make sure, say, they will create problem. They will create an impression, say, there's something wrong. Now, let's listen to Bright Simmons. He has an issue with exchange rates now. Let's listen to him.
Minus this, therefore, he has done well. So is that the way to interpret it?
So that, in my view, that's where the danger lies. Okay. Because my view is that it's about the long-term stability of the exchange rate. The ability to hold your exchange rate relatively stable.
Good.
In comparison with your major trading partners. Good. Exchange rate is not some blanket number. It's
not a relative figure
to some other country. Yeah. That's why the pound exchange rate is not the same as the dollar exchange rate. So that's important. The second one is that it's very trade-driven. And trade-driven dynamics mean, therefore, that there are countries that try to keep the exchange rate low, like China for many years. In fact, one of the biggest problems between the Chinese and Americans was that Americans used to accuse the Chinese of undervaluing their currency.
So they are exports more
exports.
Competitive.
Exactly. So Japan was also accused for many years of gaming the yen, which means, therefore, that if the trade channel is important to you, then the exchange rate is not a simple number and just keep it strong.
There are strategic reasons for keeping it at a certain place.
Yeah, but what is important is that it shouldn't fluctuate wildly.
So stability is the most important thing.
Stability is the most important thing, not necessarily appreciation.
And stability over what period? How do you measure stability?
That's hard. But generally, it should be in sync with the business cycle. Because mostly it's about the private sector.
You see, now, the positive exchange rate that we are seeing now, these people have a problem with it now. Now they are trying to tell us to say, oh, exchange rate in the crown it's doing well. No, it is not something that we are supposed to see it say because the exchange rate is doing well. No, the economy is doing well. Now you see the problem I have with these people, and I say, I think, with all due respect to them, whatever they went to school to learn, in their heads, they are expecting it, which I understand. But you see, when you sit in Ghana and you feel, say, there's no problem and that we need to speak for problem to be solved, then you make a mockery out of yourself. Now, when you talk about exchange rate and what countries like China and Japan or these first class or whatever countries do to make sure their exchange rate makes it look like they are doing well, the Chinese, they can decide to manipulate their exchange rate to send a message out there that they are doing well. They can do it and it is not going to affect them. The Chinese can do that. They can do that because the Chinese, at the end of the day, they can choose not to even import anything for a month and they'll be fine. In fact, for a year, the Chinese can live on their own production. Now, when it comes to a country like Ghana, which is a third world country, which at the end of the day, the economy, the basics or the fundamentals are determined by exports and imports. You cannot sit there and say, let us run down the exchange rate and that the exchange rate cannot, at the end of the day, you cannot use that to basically measure the level of economic gains or how the economy is doing. Let me tell you, the exchange rate at where it is a clear reflection of the work that we have put in and that what the government is doing. Because this is not the first government in Ghana. There's been governments. Recently we had that we said economists were the ones leading the economic decisions of the country, and we still saw the exchange rate swallowing the country. So if we get to this point whereby we have a consistent exchange rate, whereby the fluctuations are not as crazy and are not as quick, and then we can sit and say that our exchange rate can be determined, can be assessed, can be monitored at a period of time, then you need to give credit to that country, because it is not even easy for a nation to basically say that our exchange rate, we can give you an idea of where our dollar rate is going to be or where the city strength is going to be. So when you sit in Ghana and then you want to run down a government, whatever they have done in the name of intellectual discussion, people who are smart enough to read between the lines, they'll get to know that you are basically making a joke out of yourself. With all due respect to you, you don't know everything on this planet. The same way you pick things and you read, that's the same way other people who went to the same school with you and read other things pick stuff and read. Now, what you are trying to do there, you see, suddenly, when the exchange rate is good, we as a nation should not be happy about it because it is nothing extraordinary. But a few years ago, our conversation was all around the exchange rate, where people were saying that when the exchange rate, when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. How come, as it said today, the exchange rates are consistent, they are doing well, we see the dollar struggling against the city. Today, suddenly, we believe that no, the exchange rate at this point, should not be something that we can base on to say that the economy is doing well or not. And I feel, when you guys call yourselves intellectuals, sometimes you need to add about 70% of common sense to your analysis. With all due respect, I'm not disrespecting or insulting people, but the true and poor, the thing whereby you people go and read some articles and AI books, write-ups to come and make it look like, say, it is wrong. It is not about you dressing like a Pentecost elder and being like timid and telling people you watch porn inside, you don't watch it outside, you don't have an earring on, and you walk in a certain way or speak in a certain way, or every Sunday you go to church. That does not automatically make you a better or an intelligent person than the ordinary person with an earring or the ordinary person who does not do what you do. You people should be blunt and honest enough for people to understand what is going on. How do you sit in Ghana and try and use Japan and China to assess Ghana's economic gains? The Chinese, the Japanese, they can decide not to do what? They can decide not to import anything for a year. And I bet you those guys can survive. But can we live without imports for a month? We can't. So sometimes when we make progress in these kind of things, It's good that we sit and let people know the kind of work that has been put in it. If those guys who left power, right, yours Bawumia, who left power, if he was intelligent enough, he would have brought the dollar to 10. He did not have that knowledge to put things together to make sure that the dollar does not fluctuate. It does not go all the way to 17, all the way to 18. So, the chew and pour is too much. We have had enough of you people. And I feel, say, when there's no problem, you people have nothing to do. The only time you people become relevant is when there's something to talk about. And you people find ways to create problems so that you can be relevant in the system. Because it's beginning to look like this government has been able to silence all critics because it is basically doing what the people want. And we all know, say, for you people to be relevant, you have to force and create an issue so that people will think that you people are important in our national discourse. You are important, but sometimes let's add the rational part of it, the common sense part of it. The last time you went on TV to challenge Sami on the gold board matter, people saw through you that you were vague, you were flat. It started when we have the helicopter crash, when you went to sit on TV, embarrassed yourself without AI kind of discussion. People got to see through you, Bryce Simmons, that you cannot call yourself master for all trade. Whatever you are an expert in, stick to that. Because it is looking like as the days go by, you start to embarrass yourself. You are becoming an AI analyst. You are becoming like a flat-footed analyst. From that day, and a lot of people got to know, say, the hype was too much for no reason. A Bedru Gold Board discussion on Newsfile. Whenever you spoke and contributed, people realized that what you were saying was not different from a JSS social studies teacher. There was nothing extraordinary that you brought into that conversation that people should sit and say your ideas or your contributions should be something that we have to strictly go by. No. You people imposed yourselves on us for a long time, and I believe that it's about time you came to that realization that you need to attach more common sense to you people, your discussions than the chew and pour. The chew and pour is getting too much. Chew and pour, ya bedru ha. Ya di Ghana share Bawumia nsem. Chew and pour na Bawumia ne kufu ade ya na $1 could do 17. Majority of you guys calling yourselves intellectuals, you lost all your savings in our various banks. You lost it. Most of you are hungry and poor. DDEP. Because we were using textbook to run the nation, application of common sense was taken out. We used idiots to run this economy. People lost all their investment. We are back again. People are applying common sense and book. You all people still have an issue with that. How many countries in the sub-region have been able to turn their economy around like the way Ghana is doing? If even Ghana is doing the wrong way, don't you think other people would like to learn the wrong way to at least ease the pressure on their citizenry? That's what we are talking about. That's why from the beginning I was saying, I don't care how the NDC solved the problem. As far as the NDC keeps the dollar at 10, 11, 12, which does not cross 18, 20, I am fine. Because I don't have the capacity to go and make sure the dollar drops to 10. I don't have the know-how. I'm not an economist. I'm not a financial expert. I am not a businessman or a politician to make sure that works. It is their job. It is the job of the Bank of Ghana governor. It is the job of the finance minister. It is the job of the government to think. They need to do the thinking for us. So if they have been able to do the thinking for us, and today the dollar has dropped from 18 to 10, what is your issue with the exchange rate again? You don't live a free life. You have restricted yourself to some kind of timid life whereby so you look old. You people should live a free life a little bit. Just be free. Just live a normal free life. You people are all jacked up. You don't know what to do. It is not the simplicity and wearing long sleeves is not making you go to heaven or making you sound intelligent. It's about living a free life and speaking your mind. The chew and pour is getting too much. We are tired. It has derailed this country for too long. We need raw common sense applications near the kabuki. You people cannot know everything. Why? Right. Whatever you are learning, learn better, because right now we are beginning to see you are weak-minded. You might be an expert in something, but you are not jack of all trades. It is looking like every single day I take my time to listen to you, you become vaguer and vaguer and vaguer. You are becoming more vague. And we are beginning to see all of you Right now, when Kofi Bento speaks, I saw about them. You ask yourself, say, these were the people who we were listening to 8-9 years ago and taking decisions. Say Kofi Bento Kasana, I saw about them. And you ask yourself, say, so how did we get here? These are very important things that sometimes we have to start paying attention to these people. The narrative they want to place, they want to create an impression, say, the positives of this government, there's nothing happening. The government has done things government upon government have not been able to do. I was in Ghana this December. I saw excitement in the eyes of Ghanaians. I saw the excitement in the eyes of traders. I saw excitement in the eyes of contractors. I saw excitement in the eyes of ordinary people, hawkers on the street. The economy was alive. People are not as stressed as before. That is basic. And that is the job of, and the responsibility of a government. That is what we are looking for and we are getting. Enough of the textbook, long talk, unnecessary jargons that does not bring anything to the table, does not change anything. You people had all these ideas. Bawumia, your friends, you were not able to run this country. We are not going to allow you people to use textbook to run this country again. We are not going to allow that. We are going to make sure people add common sense to what they have learned in school to run this nation. And that is what Ato is doing. That is what John Mahama is doing. That is what Sami is doing. We are not going to allow you people to use 90% textbook. The textbook was written by some madman. So if you fail to apply the common sense, we are not going to allow you people to do that again. Now, we are reacting. Yeah, if you have a problem, it's your own problem. Now, the next one is this. It's about Kessben FM. And the Asamoah Kessben. It's a video. Let's listen. My catcher must say, Mutie radio, Mutie TV. 90% of Mbranti TV is in radio. So, Anopebia, Omofa Edro. Dodo anonum weed. And weed. So, onum bonena and illegal drug. You weed there, papa. Bebreno enum red. Bebreno are on drugs, hard drugs. Some are on heroin. Some of them, psychologically, they are not right. In this, I want to TV one out to radio, morning shows near the idea. Be very, very careful about what you consume. Now, this gentleman, almost some friend, cigar, or he made some astonishing statement on Kessben FM. And on a show why the NPP is at where they are today. Why the NPP, Omumbua Santefo, and I keep telling you, they know where to pick, where to say what they have to say, because they choose their listeners. They assess their listeners, they rate their intelligence, and then they feed them chaff. Now, this is Kessben FM, Mumiankotie, Asamoah drug addict we kind.
And you think you're activating that side of the whole thing where we don't allow your vice president, your former president, stay, without doing anything. Now, ensure say you better appoint them to do certain jobs for the country.
Yeah.
So then we lock them down.
Yeah. Mama is secret to be. Anna. Who say Bawumia wanted to appoint President Kufuor as a running mate?
Really?
I'll tell you. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he wanted to appoint President Kufuor as a running mate in 2024 elections. Chebia, who wouldn't understand this. At a point when NPP realized that Ashanti region is becoming a problem, where they shouldn't have been a problem, their strongest hold was fallen. They needed somebody that Ghana for Dono. Ghana for a bit me okay, this is a fresh beginning. As for this man there, I think this thing was discussed on Paul Watch's program. Don't even Ghana. Because of that hint. So they were discussing even this provision. Say, President Kufuor to be bad. Yes. So at the point they wanted to appoint President Kufuor. So we hear Germany way, Dr. Bawumia becomes a president. They show President Kufuor and reappoint another vice president.
It would have been possible, right?
Because you had the new question to me.
Yeah.
So because Omoma Kanina be a problem. It's President Kufuor there. So bit ni Kumasi Jom. Yes, Kufuor there, health insurance, Kufuor there, free maternal care, cocoa mass spraying, metro mattress. Kufuor school feeding, Kufuor wine, Metraban. Befakati Bibian Mato. To the 22 million we are President Kufuor is old. Obetimia Kasema resign. You bet me declared incapacitated. then no one resign. Then they appoint.
Or say, or may declare for incapacitated. Hey, go for Jimmy too. Hey, me see. So go for you. Me see you pona. My catch level. Every before we. Or say, or may declare for incapacitated. I'm not going to me. Yeah. I'm not going for collection box. Every before, or may Jimmy bruta. Boys, way, me see I'm no. Omo be declare me papa ko for incapacitated. Palatable man amo enkwasiafo small boys. Politics na yefo. Bawumia na wonya bebi na odi ni sika nto na odi amasa enkwasiafo we. Wotena TV so tumi bie wa no ka asem we kira santefo. Oba na chim no wudo. Otumi bie na no e ka asem say ai na Bawumia na omo ne meeting no na Bawumia pese oyi president Kufuor send the vice. Na mo akasa inti asem we pa obetuma gina nkran aka. Na we be na no say omo bi am de Kufuor kwaji tumi a na mo declare incapacitated ko say Kufuor da oye just say you say incapacitated a o te say kura ya do show abepai just say boys we kura nsam mu ade Kufuor yi mo be declare incapacitated me see we mo omo ye junkies we mo omo Jimmy. These are the people MPP4 are using to convince Ghana for say Bawumia and was here to abamano. How can a young man, and you see, they look at their listenership. Omo checking where ya santimemu. Sebio manisi sumila so. Kessben for one santifo do one so mo Jimmy. Omo to me kenkan. Omo de omo no omo ye talk for nti yanka bibi nto omo ntirim. Nti nanka na wonim say Bawumia nanka peso yi Kufuor as his running mate. Na otwe so to you say e go for yo. Omo Jimmy too. Ena omotiwo ena asanteman etie I know him nanka eyi Bawumia koyi Kufuor as the running mate because na asanteman ye problem just say omotina radio so asantememu a omo asantifo nyina so mo Jimmy omo no makonkran aba ono ne ko nkran na to UTV so nti omo maka nyina Jimmy ye ne akobebi epo nti ye ne anim de ka na utumi tina TV so we ready for we mo omo no nnuro we mo me drug addicts apeteshifo apeteshia de pragwaye no monom ano potuto mu kan omu kasagu so a untumi nye. Now how can you sit on radio on TV this statement alone kwa emayati asese Bawumia ni munyansa se Bawumia mba abontene ambeka say this boy should apologize to him then it means Bawumia kwa oni munyansa na say mo na mudi Bawumia chi 2024 no na Bawumia ohumu samu yankokɔ na Bawumia person of Kufuor as running mate. This guy needs to come and prove to MPP Nia Santimai say asam na wo kan sha Bawumia kon no eye no kre. Fact pa original asam we so kan no. That say all the time ani ka say Bawumia nim nyansa no with all due respect yen nyina yen nim say J.A. Kufuor former president Sebio class prefect going to me nyanene. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that because he has gone into that point whereby saying Kufuor the vice president of America, he will tell you I'm not going to do it. How much more an intoxicated, diabolic, dangerous, myopic, confused, ignorant, foolish, dramatic, inconsistent, pragmatic idiots. Party. Your friend MPP. Why should Kufuor come and be the running mate of Mahamudu Bawumia? This boy, these people, they want to lower Kufuor ne respect for Ghana and the party. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them because Bawumia and Amomo yes anyoma we. And Mahamudu Bawumia host ne Jimmy Chan guest no. Host no where Jimmy Chan guest had here.
And you think you're activating that side of the whole thing where we don't allow your vice president, your former president, stay, without doing anything. Now, ensure say you better appoint you to do certain jobs for the country.
Yeah.
So then we lock them down.
Yeah. Mama is secret to be.
Anna.
Who say Bawumia wanted to appoint President Kufuor as a running mate?
Really?
I'll tell you. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, he wanted to appoint President Kufuor as a running mate in 2024 election. Chebia, who wouldn't understand this. At a point when these NPP realized that Ashanti region is becoming a problem, where they shouldn't have been a problem, their strongest hold was fallen. They needed somebody that Ghana for Dono. Ghana for a bit okay, this is a fresh beginning. As for this man there, I think this thing was discussed on Paul Adwachi's program. Good evening, Ghana. Because of that hint, so they were discussing even this provision. Say, President Kofo to be a ban. Yes. So at the point they wanted to appoint President Kofo. So we hear Germany my Dr. Bawumia becomes a president. They show President Kofo and reappoint another vice president.
It would have been possible, right?
Because you had the new to me.
Yeah.
So because Omo Makani na be a problem. It's President Kofo there. So bit ni Kumasi Jom. Yes, Kofo there health insurance. Kofo there free maternal care. Koko mass spraying. Metro transit. Kofo school feeding. Kofo wine. Metro ban. Mefakati bibian mato. Otu adi kwaji 2 million we are President Kofo is old. Obetimi akasema resign. You bet me declare incapacitated. Obetimi akasema resign. You bet me declare incapacitated. Obetimi akasema resign. You bet me declare incapacitated. Then no I resign. Obetimi akasema resign. You bet me declare incapacitated. Obetimi akasema resign. You bet me declare incapacitated.
Just say
then
he go for you. Omo Jimmy o, omo Jimmy too. We mo no, omo nyini me se pona. Any asobayire pona ne asobayire any de ehwentia omo won fa so chan before hwentia ade ne friend hwentia no e won fa so chan PP communicators hwen kwa sem ye oka ye ne declare papa Kofo incapacitated na what ase ye fa Kofo ngoni to me ye declare incapacitated na Kofo aka so incapacitated just the disrespect and the foolishness. The gross incapacitated in the form of disrespect. So, this is gross incapacitated in form of disrespect. Now host it to oh wow. Now akwa we onware anopa wo. Wanum codeine and wabo eyedien mafie guso and ode red atoso and wanum apeteshi and wabetena ho incapacitated. Now unim Paul Admochi shows in the discuss here. You see where they get their information from. When they are discussing Ghana, it is all about MPP supporters on Santimimo. It's finished. That is all. That is all. When it comes to national discourse, you see them start big like this. They will circle it down. Almost it will end up with tribalism. Yeah, a party. When I will say NPP who say Asantimine, they were losing Asantimine. Asantifo inti yede Kofo be kire mo a Ghana be gi Kofo atum o kasa Asantifo na be gi Kofo atum anase Ghana because at that point when the kaka kire say MPP who say no mu lose Ashanti region Asantifo no vote no Kejetiafo vote no Edumfo vote no. Now how can you bring Kofo and tell me say Ghanaians will accept Kofo being the running mate to Bawumia? Now you're insane. We mommy sankwaso. And you know the funny thing, and upon the back BMO PZ, Namin call for EB, ready for no mugu, and they keep misleading, misinforming, disinforming, and not a fay yet yada dem. Until from 1992, was ya try yada demwa besine. Into the only thing the boy who and say, hey, yeah, you're too for nana. But when it comes to the new world that comes with technology, advancement. Building a nation, but say we are back. We are all the way back. The only thing that yetimi ekreti sebio yade kata ye ferry any sebio ye krona entumi nkode nim ama sebio nkofo bi ka se asante ye kurase no asantima ye kurase no it is ye nyina yesum otumfo ye nyina yesum otekokko. We respect otekokko ye bo otumfo or your hinekese, but otumfo at the end of the day you did not vote for otumfo said to Otumfo said to Odiakunya and into nana yebuno. But when it comes to your taxes that you are not paying your taxes to Otumfo to build roads. You are not paying your taxes to Otumfo to build hospitals. You are not paying your taxes to Otumfo to come and then build a factory, to come and change the life, build schools, build universities. Your taxes does not go to Otumfo, so you hold the people you have given your taxes to accountable that the taxes we paid to you. Because asantini biya ni asantime mo tua etuoma Otumfo. Enti Debiano na development na yempese ebeka ho asem no and the oba asantimemu a kasa e wo se yeka no yaka na hye ene ye de nyoma bi akata ye ni wo so eni nti na bebi egina na egina no. And I'm not saying this from a bad place. I'm saying this from a place menyini wa asantimemu, so I understand. Hey, sometimes you are supposed to have some blunt, candid conversations in the Ashanti region. But nipa ni bi wo ha say omobe face the reality and the truth, you know. What they do is debiano na yakotwa otekokwo so ntoma ne ya bekasa ya de bekata asem no so na de hia pa na wo say ye ka ema ne sesa asanteman imebunu abrabo no na ya de akata so. So it makes it difficult for otumfo to be a chief or a king, because at the end of the day the responsibility na wo say jifri aban ho no na ya force we piam otumfo, but otumfo at the end of the day is not taking taxes from anybody in the Ashanti region. It is a west stadia in some way was say ka ebiane say before election 2024 na Paul Admotri MPP for Bawumia munya beka che mu say Kumasi ye ba be change airport needing an international airport. Imagine, it's almost a year and a half no international flight in Orlando Asantimemu. This is a conversation we need to have. This is a conversation that we need to have. We need to be angry about that a political party, a government in office lied to the people of Ashanti. So if we can't sit and have this candid conversation, start asking the question and posing the questions to the people who deceived us. The NPP deceived us. And all their candidates are not even supposed to come to the Ashanti region to talk to anybody. It is about Bawumia Ashanti region. Now, automatically, and I say subconsciously, about it seems with all due respect, because don't they remember anything? They see any that is where the problem is. Yensi antumagufi wa bontene na entumagufi no so eye fi gudam cha amafo begin say ya bodamfo ene den ye ne nyoma finda nti at a point no nyoma fi no edoso ne ye bie pia bontene ne aka no kore no na sebi ye dem so ate, because ye ntumi mfa ntumafi ne gudam saa ebedu pempenso bi nya bebi na nti obi twam abaka se dem bon obi twam abaka se ya bodama na adentina ya bo ntumagufi gudam ye da bontene. That is what we are facing. Nti so we raise the issue of Ashanti development. Some people, because they are uncomfortable, what they do is they go hide behind Otumfo, and then they make it difficult for Asanteman to get development. That is the problem. She said how some people have turned against the Ashanti regional minister. Oya Santiniba, oya this year, or also Sebio Osum Sikeja. Why would Asantini have a problem with a young man who is trying to save Asanteman, to bring development to Asanteman, to make sure say to make sure say bridges say buya? Why do you think a political party, individuals will sit on TV, on radio, and try everything to destroy that man? It is because it is tough. It is difficult. And that is what Yania was Santimemo ya Tuabama MPP no. That is our reality we need to face. Edru bebia adi shekura to me dwane na enkwa omakon. Edru bebia I was see a kano kreno send ye tie. The NPP omo deceiver Santimaya che. It is not mina mebe kano emamohu. All of you guys in the Ashanti region are most support to NPP. You know deep down. Mumubi mutu muban kraya mutu mi busa mo ho makume mu se enti ade we nyina bi ntumi ma santime mu hwende nyoma esi won kran hwe development e koso won kran asenso bo achi be road minister na oten kran na or commission an interchange or commission road na oten kran o twa homem se yenya kwan na yabodwa asantini ba this year odimokodi nchene ye man road minister when to me entwa humemu asantime man ka say yenye kwan 1 kilometer. This is serious. And at the same asenso buacha why say bentua ye be express road afa asantime mu also on tiase. This is what I talk about. Yenye nkasa na ye ku ye ho yenye nkasa na ye ma nipa bi ebu ya bomfia yenye na ye ma nipa bi efre ye say ye nkurasefo. We need to sometimes face the reality. Senke statica bom buankrasem enanka yamfa politics ambeshi shemanka say ye di nanakata so enanka ye honest with the NPP anka buankra inland port anka NPP onko sanko mo ye 8 years ye twa homemum pren miensa. For 8 years, nanka Buankra Inland Port, sanke ya, anka santimai immebunua, and the bebenye jumanya, sebio dodogu pizet enum in Duboneno, come in a benye jumaye. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why have we become people? We just don't want to face reality. Adna de biano, na ya de nyomebi e kata nyomebi, so we are not supposed to do that. Into today, because of politics in tea, ya kasa kofo Mube declare incapacitated. Do you understand that word? This boy needs to apologize to the NPP. In fact, Bawumia needs to prove to us, say, Asamoah boy we kano and yet no correct. Because you see, Bawumia tina na osponsan kwa we na omu guni peni mase, omu didim peni fuatem, omu say a ya party na ayana e hardwene. How can you sit on radio, TV, and tell Ghana for say the NPP they will use Kufuor as a running mate and declare him incapacitated? Do you understand the word you are using? This is the meaning of incapacitated. When you read the meaning, past tense, incapacitated, past participle, incapacitated, prevent from functioning in a normal way. Omo de Kufuor to me na omo declare say he is not normal. He cannot function well. That is what this boy is saying. That, or say, to me, how can you bring a former president as a running mate? That's a big lie. Bawumia, did you make that decision? Did you think of even doing that? And secondly, how can you say you will use him to take power and declare him incapacitated? Then you want to tell us that after using him to get power, you cannot use him to do anything in a normal way. So Kufuor is a dysfunctional human being. And these boys are walking and saying, yes, ye campaign Bawumia, and you be sit there and all these things are happening. Bro, for you see, 99% of us anti-mind for support MPP. So be use sadio or nanaso over pasu fia ububefu. So be bejina bantima, obejina safu. No show him because one nana kwesi kwatin. We will declare this man incapacitated. Wo, on tiasienti. Obeji say asem ketwa na wakana eti say obi a onte brofo ka say lumba nim nyom to chen Michael Jackson. If you say wonte brofo nti wadwin yo say lumba onim nyom to chen Michael Jackson eni ntira na obeka asem no na say brofo we say wote ase a anka akwa we ka say obo be declare Kufuor incapacitated anka o say Asante ka say no. You want to the disrespect, dysfunctional. Kufuor is not functioning in a normal way. You would declare him dysfunctional, unfunctional. Just say you just see him as a disabled human being. You would declare him incapacitated. Who born dog? Fama omuni antoaso videos in bebre ho ebe dwedwam. Ye girem. Hey. Cha 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 cha. You are still live on Loud Silence TV. My name is Kevin Akobedu. It's exactly 9:54 p.m. in Ghana. We are blazing all platforms. Facebook, TV, radio, YouTube. Take every platform is blazing. We control. Now, there's another video I want us to react to. This issue about the defense minister in Ghana. And I have followed this gentleman, your friend, Farouk Al-Wahab. And I think majority of the radios and TVs, of course, almost introducing him as an international relations expert or something like that. And I give him credit for that. And we came across a video where he was reacting to some security issues. And it was on Angel FM, Sadiq Adams, the host. Now, we listened to the submission. It came to the issue about the defense ministry, our security, and Al-Wahab has carried himself in Ghana or around the nation as an international expert, whereby Asamoah see outside the borders of Ghana and in Ghana when it comes to security, international relations, he carries himself around and say he is an expert. He knows more than majority of us. So many people have not challenged yet the background. They have not challenged the number of meetings and assignments and what actually qualifies somebody to call themselves an expert. But it's Ghana. Let's leave it there. He made a comment today, and I believe he said, as an international security expert or international relations expert or whatever, no, he should know better when it comes to security, positioning, security as an institution, leadership of security agencies, their job as leaders, and the job of institutions. There are two different things here. There's what we call the security institution. There's what we call the security and leadership. Now, if you're not able to distinguish between the security as an institution or as a body from the leadership of security institutions, you might be an expert in that field, but you end up exposing yourself and some way or somehow letting people know, say, you are not current as people think you are supposed to be. When it comes to political issues, when it comes to international relations issues, when it comes to security issues, you have to be super updated. You have to also understand, say, when it comes to security, decisions that are taken strategically, maybe to the layman's eyes, and I say, to we the layman, you better make as a security man be engineer gate one security man instead of 3. Maybe we won't call security school and I say, wouldn't know anything about defense, you know. You might think, say, why this big door and one security man standing in front of it? Maybe about 7 snipers have been put on some high buildings to be monitoring that gate. Technically, there are 8 people watching that gate. But when you go there and you see one police officer standing there, in your head, you know, you might say, this is a big security mishap. Because why this big gate? Why so many things in this house and we have only one security man? For all you know, there are 16 cameras, 17 snipers who are all in hidden places monitoring the same gate. So when you call yourself an expert, international relations or security expert, sometimes when it comes to addressing issues, when it comes to national security, defense, and all these things, you need to be very mindful the way you speak. And I feel that sometimes people get too excited when they are called to speak on issues or they are tagged a certain way or represent something. So they get carried away, and sometimes in their delivery, they underestimate, even in the process of them trying to maybe say something about they end up rather discrediting and undermining the authority, and it is very tricky and dangerous. Now let's go listen to Al-Wahab.
A country with their defense minister, it is very bad. Okay. It is very poor. Practically, from the time Nyameto and Safre, your defense minister, a country in this modern world without a substantive defense minister is an exposure. And it is a very, very, Burkina border day. Defense minister would have picked the intelligence, but the defense minister that we have now is sitting at the Ministry of Finance. The country most pressured ministry is the finance, because that does and deals with the distribution of money, economy. Yeah. Everything has to run through the economy, right. Education, economy, bioeconomy. Do you understand me? And as a interim support, Obi Meye holding office and only holding the defense ministry. Yeah. Please, Mr. President, with this one, this is the only opportunity I'm taking to speak on this subject. Yeah. Not the Minister of Finance. The reason is very simple. The ministry is already too much for him to bear. Minister of Defense also is the defense of the nation because of these days, and especially we have Boko and all that. Yes. At what time does he go to sit on economic planning meetings and discuss about economy and brief the presidency and brief the banks and etc. about the economy? Right. How does he get time to go and sit with the military? That is wrong. 2, relatively who is doing the work of the same Minister of Defense, you can say, sir, Defense Ministry aside, the next person that you can consider should have been the Interior. Interior police, Interior immigration, Interior prisons, or fire service, or NADBO, all those things. And the Sanka Defense Minister, Ninoha, now say Yenya substantive, or baby take over, and kafa Interior.
Okay.
And now less ministry, science and technology, can say, but don't to me Defense Ministry and San Koka, Minister of Finance. Abraham Morovan said, Morovan, so I finance minister or what be a defense background and a military background or anything to do with defense there. Okay, because he himself or that history. Only that background or Juma, I want a finance ministry. Yamanu concentrated no Jumano, no defense ministry, so officers still in Yaubia. My interior minister and share because it's the police and the same security company on the community no one share. It is wrong. We can't live with that as substantive ministry of a ministry.
That is the problem I have with his submission. And the problem is simple. If you look at security as cabinet meeting, caucus meeting, then without due respect, you calling yourself an international relations expert and security expert, you don't deserve to be called that, because like you said in your own statement, we are in a modern world where technology is basically running our security. Now, when the substantive minister, may he so rest in peace, Omane Boamah died, Omane Boamah was in direct collaboration. In fact, he was working hand in hand with the deputy finance minister. And remember, the deputy finance minister, deputy defense minister, Broja Jemfi. And remember, we all know that Broja Jemfi, after Omane Boamah left office, he has been exceptional. You see, when we sit to speak and we try to undermine people, their efforts, that is where some of us have problems with people like you. Your problem is that why didn't the president choose somebody else from a minor ministry? No ministry is minor. No ministry. There is a reason why they are ministries. Now, if the president decides to choose the finance minister to be the interim defense minister, then it means there is a specific reason why he did not say that the deputy defense minister should go home. There is a reason. Now, if you fail to acknowledge the deputy defense minister's role from that time till now, then it means you are also lacking the basic understanding of security and defense. Because at the end of the day, if the finance minister is playing a role that is just what we call an acting role, then it means that the deputy finance minister is playing the role as the defense minister. So nothing has really changed when it comes to the defense of this nation. At this point, when it comes to defense, Mr. Al-Wahab, I don't think that you would choose your enemy, even in your own family, to be your next of kin. You see, a woman and a woyan, they are two different things. There's a reason why when cabinet names are coming out, defense is something that a lot of people are very, very interested in. Because we believe, say, if somebody is chosen as the defense minister and the honest president in the court, like he is somebody the president can trust. So you don't expect the president to just get up one morning and say that, you know what, without due respect, the defense minister at this point is not around. There's a deputy who is working. And that because there is an interior minister, because there is a police officer or a minister, so I have to just put the person there. For all you know, the former defense ministers, when you go back and check their background, none of them had what we call experience in anything called defense. Now, your problem is that the finance minister has a lot of work, so he cannot perform. Okay, say Asamoah esiwo boko. Senka Interior Defense Minister no wa. When the defense minister is in Accra, he does not go to Boko to man the borders of Boko. Every single thing that happens in this country or outside this country or on our borders, it is all intelligence gathering and report that ends up in Accra. And I can tell you on authority that when Omane Boama was the defense minister, most times are not only around, his deputy was the one making sure the ministry was running. So if Omane Boama is not there and the president is still keeping the deputy defense minister and says that he is taking his time to find somebody to work with the deputy, so the finance minister should play that role. It does not mean that the deputy finance minister does not know what he's doing. That is the reason why we have a vice president and a president. When the president is not around, he knows for sure that the vice president can take his job. Now, the issue here is that when you make it look like the deputy finance minister who is still there, the deputy finance minister who has background in security, maybe you have not checked Broja Jemfi's resume. I want you to spend a minute and go back and check the resume of Broja Jemfi. And then you understand why President John Dramani Mahama decided to make him deputize Omane Boama. For the finance minister, playing an oversight responsibility or role as the defense minister does not take anything away from the work they are doing. In the first place, what is so daring and so crazy confronting Ghana that if now we have a defense minister working with the finance minister to make sure, say, the defense ministry is running now, you are making it look like, say, the president has made the biggest mistake. They are mistaken a president now. Because if tonight, say, bomb at one of our borders, the defense minister, if even we have a substantive defense minister, he's not going to get in a helicopter and go to where the bomb exploded. It is still going to be intelligence gathering. It is going to be a report that has to be in Accra for him to deal with. So you cannot just run down people who have worked hard to get to a position. When you were speaking on the show, you made it look like, say, Atofo Serenkwane, a defense minister. No. There is a deputy defense minister who worked with Omane Boama before Omane Boama lost his life. Now, at this point, the president believes, President Ninji Broja Jemfi India, and Kobeka Broja Jemfi said, go home. I need to get a new deputy defense minister and a defense minister. But the president knew the experience of Broja Jemfi and he knew what he brings to the table. He said, I am going to appoint Atofo Sen to have an oversight responsibility. Meaning, if you go to the defense ministry, technically, Atofo Sen is just being briefed because the president has confidence in the deputy finance minister. So, Omane Boama Niwa, it is the deputy who is there. Don't make it look like, say, Atofo Sen Soriano Pana Oko Finance Ministry or Koswako, and that Osoriano Pa in front of him, 100,000 papers, the good anima. He cannot have some time to be briefed by the deputy finance minister on the status of our security in Ghana. No. You don't necessarily need the interior minister to be the defense minister acting. Muntaka does not have any experience when it comes to defense. And it's a fact. So if Muntaka is the interior minister, it does not qualify Muntaka to be the defense minister. So if from your experience and from your background, you sit on radio and make it look like, say, Atofo Sen, and interim defense minister, it is wrong. Mr. President, the president knows what he's doing. Let us not run people down. Let us not make it look like, say, there are people there who are not working with Atofo Sen. With all due respect, after the demise of Omane Boama, a dear threat as a nation, our defense could not handle. A dear threat and so far, we have seen the work the deputy and the Atofo Sen, who is in charge as an interim, doing right now in Ghana. The president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. He has his own reasons for saying, say, he wants to keep the deputy and make the finance minister oversee the defense ministry. What is the big deal? Technology, defense has changed. And yet now, we need boots on the ground, whereby everybody has to be holding a gun and be on a border. Today, people are using drones to monitor their borders. People are using intelligence. You don't need to be at the forefront or the war front to make decisions to protect your borders. You can sit in Accra and make decisions to protect all your borders. So you need to speak as an expert. Let us stop doing all these things. The president has done nothing wrong. The president has done nothing wrong. In the first place, you are the same people who were saying that the ministers, the government has been using to work is too much. Today, we have a government that we are able to use less ministers to run the economy. What do you need? And there's no loophole in our defense, in our security, in our borders. So you might not agree with me on this. The president never said he was not going to appoint a defense minister. The president said he needed time to appoint a defense minister, meaning that position is not a walk in the park. It's not just to go and sleep and get up and say, Asimesi, go and be a defense minister. Somebody can be an interim defense minister and can shut your nation down. Somebody can be an interim defense minister for 1 week and your governance, your government will be taken away from you. Do not underestimate this. You have read too much when it comes to defense. You have read too much. It is not about having an individual sitting there as a defense minister. That shows to say your country's defenses are solid. It is about the person coming, the commitment to the job and to the man who appointed him. So it is not just about an individual coming to sit there and calling himself a defense minister. The president can elect anybody as a defense minister. But at the end of the day, the consequences, at the end of the day, can you bear it? So at least let us respect the decision of the president. Let us respect the decision of the president. And I know you are not rude to the president, but from your background, baby Aufriba, and your submission, I believe, you have not been fair to the deputy defense minister. You have not been fair to Broja Jemfi. Tomorrow, you same people should come and read Broja Jemfi's resume and tell Ghanaians he even qualifies to be a defense minister. So you people should stop this. Mumia Njai, sir, you don't want to recognize the man. You don't want to recognize the work he's doing. You don't want to recognize some people. We cannot use names and faces to be like, by force, somebody should be there. Ato Forsen has not complained. Ato Forsen has not complained. We have had people who have taken roles that they never had an idea about, and they have worked and done the work exceptionally. So please, when these things come and we are discussing, we first have to ask ourselves, who and who are in charge now? Oh, who and who are now in charge? Oh, Broja Jemfi, he was the deputy to Almane Boama. What's his background? Okay, Ato Forsen is overseeing it. The president is taking his time. Is Broja Jemfi in depth? Does he know about this? Yes. So what's the big deal here? Now, I want to react to something. Jandam killing. It's exactly 10:13 p.m. in the United States, in Ghana. Yejinem. Asamba mumienya butre. Asamoah mumienya butre. The same thing about after this issue that happened in Venezuela, and our Foreign Affairs Ministry released a statement. Quickly, you people say anything. Quickly. Mokasa by heart, with all due respect. Anyamonkwana munim international relations. Anyamonkwana munim defense. This is the modern world we are in now. A young man of about 18 years, and the America, their intelligence, Enquara 17, 18, 19, 20 are in charge of American defense systems. Munja is adiano. Anyamonkwana munim intelligence ni defense. Intelligence, I guess I'm from Rizzo Metua, Nina talk, and you're meeting, meeting. It is not about age. It is not about, you are quick to respond to things quickly. Mope say, it is a munkwana munim intelligence, international relations. Our Foreign Affairs Ministry, you think they are stupid to just release a statement? Do you think Ablakwa is just foolish to just release a statement on this Venezuela issue? Munim bibias munim she. Mostati human DND, international DND, you want about support the Bia Mudia Befie, and a Muhuna, and your call Iraq, and your call Togo, and your call. There are people who are handling issues, but they don't even call themselves they don't call themselves experts. I am Umbra Mwase Kakra. I am Umbra Mwase. Take the letter and read the letter well. Take the statement that the Foreign Affairs Ministry published and read it well. Enye de bia ne bia mic amokasa mo yempenifo. Some of you cannot even operate a computer. You cannot operate even an iPhone. You cannot even operate the new modern technology we have. And some person can a technology a defense where we are seeing now. Defense goes beyond a border. Yade barrier atoso. Security goes beyond border yade barrier atoso. J.A. Kufuor in as defense minister. Go and check the background of J.A. Kufuor's brother. Did he have any defense background? It's about the trust. Let's not talk as if we say Yenibibia or Ghana. Do you want me to read Broja Jemfi's resume? Go and check yourself. Munjai Sakasano, and you just hear anybody talk anyhow. And a Blackwell releases statement to be any antiasia and opreno and enquasia kekana yamude. Mukasa anyhow. When you take a document, read the document and then process the document before you speak. Team, let's move forward. Ochna. And I'm team Emmanuel Amakofibua, thank you very much, team, is currently serving as the acting minister for environment, science and technology, replacing the late Ibrahim Mutala. Amakofibua is handling 2 ministries. A day ministry in our Ghana and the pressure war watching lands ministry. But Amakofibua is managing the 2 ministries. J.A. Kufuor the Ninuya the defense minister. Mumusa J.A. Kufuor Nuyane say, nani experience wing. Give the president time. He knows what he's doing. He has experience than all of you people. He is not foolish. He is taking his time and he knows what he's doing. The people who are in charge now are capable of taking care of issues. Mo predodo. Mo kasa too much. Nitu we on na work kan kwasi asemi monko ede papa be no nimo be deputy defense minister. We sit in this country and enkwasi akeka ede ensam no ena mo sorry a ena nipa we mudidin na wo betena ho na wo ka deputy woka defense asem no na deputy no oni ho. Shut up now. The
MPP of Darocha, Sakiskek, Victor Usu, Kofi Buzia, Professor Edubuahin, Alajete, J.A. Kufuor, those men of value, those men of integrity are not what we have today. I tell you without mincing words, the 5 people who are contesting wanting to be flag bearers are just sankwas. I tell you without mincing words, the 5 people who are contesting wanting to be flag bearers are just sankwas. I tell you without mincing words, the 5 people who are contesting wanting to be flag bearers